chilling cold outside, and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and on behalf of the entire Koppel team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 off MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with zero down. So check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Did you know that AmeriCorps programs improve lives, strengthen communities, and foster civic engagement in Nebraska? For example, members serving with AmeriCorps programs like Partnership for Kids provide kids with the support they need to succeed in school and prepare for their dream career. Discover more about AmeriCorps programs making a difference in your community at serve.nebraska.gov. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Chancellor Brewington, powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, welcome in. What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington? I got the host, as always, to my left. You guys can join in 402-464-5685, as always. And Facebook, YouTube, XL, Channel 961. You can always put a face to the voice. Chancellor Brewington, how's it going on a Thursday night?
It's going great. It's going great. I'm having a warm Thursday night. But I hope everyone else out there is having a good Thursday night and hope they had a good week. We're past that midway point and we're about end of the quote unquote work week. So I hope everyone's refreshed or getting there or, they've had a fulfilled day and a fulfilled week at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So how you doing, Harrison?
Doing great. I hit a high today. Yeah, like throughout the week, forever. Some days just feel good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them. I woke up today and I was like,
oh, yeah.
It'd be a good one. So far, it hasn't disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
Because yesterday I fell on my rear twice on the way in and on the way out.
What?
My rear.
Really?
Yeah. It was so icy, man. Nobody told me. I'm walking into the building. I fall on the ice on the way out. I'm like, you got me the first time. Yeah. Not happening. 2 for 2. The ice got me. So today, I needed to have a better day.
So how'd you handle those? How do you handle your falls? Because if anyone, I don't care how athletic you are.
Coach told me, fall on my butt, man. God gave it to me for a reason.
There you go.
No, seriously, because most people they slip and then they try to catch themselves.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, your arms break, buddy.
Yeah, or your wrists. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's good technique.
Fall on your butt. It's gonna hurt, but it'll save you from breaking anything.
Yeah. You get some good form there. I mean, I remember I fell Northern Arizona, Flagstaff, Arizona. We probably get more snow than Nebraska. It's colder here, but more snow, if that makes any sense.
Well, I'd say probably more consistently you get snow because you're in Lincoln. If you go north, you probably get what you get in Flagstaff.
Okay, so maybe it's and we're 7,000 feet up, right? So it's a lot different.
Mm-hmm. But definitely more in Lincoln, I bet. For
sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely more. And we had some pretty bad snow days while I was there. Where we were snowed in, we couldn't go to the facility and like stuff like that. But there's one day I was walking to class, man, and I felt so bad. I felt so bad, and everyone. It was like you're walking through campus, so like their cars are stopped. There's like 40 cars stopped.
Oh, you had an audience.
Hey, I fell, and I'll tell you what, you cannot take life too serious, but you can. But at some points, you just gotta laugh and just say, man, so I got up, and it was a bad fall, Harrison. I fell for like 5 seconds. Like,
you were fighting it?
Yeah, I was fighting it, and then I got it for a second, and I went down hard, and I was just like,
see, that's why I don't fight it, because when you fight it and then you lose it, that's when those are the hard falls.
Like then you lose your technique. Then your technique's out the window, and that's when, and we know in football and in sports, when your technique goes out the window, that's when injuries happen.
Yeah, I hit who was that lineman that just fell on his butt? Tried so hard not to get the false start.
Oh, I know you're talking about, but keep going.
Okay, everybody knows the implement. 402-464-5685.
Yeah,
it's such a nobody even cares. It's not even putting this guy on blast. It's one of the funniest things though. That's how I am on the ice. Like as soon as I start slipping, I kind of pause and see if I can I get my balance, and if I don't, I'm just going back. I'm just gonna fall.
It's bad news. I'm telling you, there's that ice monster. It gets a couple people every year. And if you're lucky, you got to respect the ice. It's just like water and ice, like those elements, of course, fire too. But water, when it's frozen, you have to respect that thing, and you have to move. You have to move accordingly. I mean, you can't just be running through. You can't be running through the street or running to your car. Because I went to my car last night and this morning, and I said, "Oh, okay." I went out in Crocs. I said, "No, this is not gonna work. It's not gonna work."
You went out there with the Crocs?
Yeah, it's not gonna work because I like working out barefooted, and so I wear my Crocs to the gym and stuff like that. But it gets to the point where it gets too cold, and you gotta dress accordingly first of all, but you gotta walk accordingly too.
Yeah, I just checked my shoes. No wonder I got no grip on these. My treads are. You do the penny test with the tires, and you see where the treads at.
Oh yeah,
you do the equivalent of my shoes. Like I'm dead fan on that.
Yeah.
I got no treads. So there you go. Yeah, didn't check the footwear.
Yeah.
That's a big lesson. What else you got, Brewington?
Yeah.
That was a little weather tangent there.
Yeah, a little weather tangent.
I know you lost the championship game, or maybe. Did you come back?
Oh, my gosh, dog. For the people listening, I was in a City League Basketball tournament. We were in the final game, double elimination. We already beat this team twice. They missed like every shot last time we played them, right? These boys missed like 1-3 the first game. And like we were in there fighting. And then the second game, I was not accounting for it, right? So I thought we were gonna win and get up out of there. Man, I didn't bring enough water for the game. I didn't carb up for the game. I was not prepared. These are like 40-minute games, right? An hour games. And we ended up losing the second one I mean, it was like a 5-point loss both times, but it stung a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, it stung, but gotta bounce back. Yeah, you gotta bounce back right away. I'm like, man, and like, you go hard. I go hard in those games hard for basketball. I'm not going all out.
No, but everybody's been to the park play, and then all of a sudden the plays like get serious.
Yeah. So it's like that kind of turn up, like a little bit more than that, a little bit more.
No, for
like,
sure. Yeah,
you're playing 5-on-5. It's a little different. It's not like first 1 to 15, right? So it's a little different. But no, I had a good time playing that season, and they do a good job, reffing and doing some stuff. I was talking to Bach on the locker room, and because he plays in 2 different ones. So he
Bach?
plays, Bach's a little shooter, man.
No, I bet you his archetype's got to be a 3-level scorer.
Yeah.
He seems filthy.
Yeah.
Finishes around the rim.
So he plays Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay.
And so we go back and forth and we talk like, oh, how'd you play? Whatever. And
Are you guys in the same league, or how does that work?
So he's in a different bracket. So we never got to play each other.
Oh, okay.
But we're in the same quote unquote league. And so we would always communicate and be like, how'd you play? This is this. So Bach one night, and for people who don't know who Bach is, he's the producer for Character Show, The Captain, and am I missing one?
I mean, he's done On the Block before. Jake Bach has been well known around the ticket.
I mean, if you know the ticket, you know Bach. So he's telling me one day, I come in and he's like, Chance, man, I have to tell you something. So I guess he was I would say he was helping up one of his teammates, and his teammate got a little argumentative to the ref, and Bach's like, "Hey man, don't worry about it." And then the next drive, he goes for a scoop steal, and Bach says he's just not that good at defense, so he finally said he got one, right? And so he's super proud. And then the ref calls a reach in on him, and Bach goes, "What are you, crazy?" Hey, I was dying. And if you know Bach, he's super composed,
that's not
super chill. And so he's like, my emotions got the best of me, Chance. And I was like, man, that literally represents City League basketball. And it's so funny because me and Bach talk about it. We're so cool with the refs. And the moment, for me at least, the moment they make a bad call, it's like all that relationship goes out the window for a second. And then I'll be like, hey, my bad, man. Like, I know you're just, out here. Like, these are guys that have day jobs.
Yeah,
right?
they're literally doing it for a few bucks.
Yeah, maybe $50.
They got Jake
right?
Bachman just screaming at him. Are you kidding me?
No, but it's fun though. I'll tell you what. At the beginning, I didn't really understand how to control the competitive nature.
Yeah,
because I'm fresh out of football, fresh out of high level whatever. And then I didn't know how to turn it on and off at first. So I was like playing with it. Like, do I come out like a football game and like whatever? Because I mean, anytime refs or officials and scoring gets involved, like real scores, and there's a clock and like it just you hear whistles and like
it adds an element.
Like there's different neural circuits that you got built up that cause some type of chemical reaction. I promise you. But it's fun. It was fun for me, and I don't know if I'll be doing it again that serious anytime soon, because I'll tell you what, them games took like my body took some beatings. Like I had a black eye. Like
that's a long too, because over at UNL, I don't know what they were. They weren't 40 minutes though. They were really quick games.
Yeah,
and they're like whatever. I can't remember what the hell they even called them. It's just like obviously it's just a bunch of teams. You get together and you join this, and then at the end you can win a bunch of like Adidas shoes or whatever UNL is giving out. And those were always okay, but the games were so damn short, which was all right because I guess you're in school, but I almost would have liked longer games because you just run in teams where it's like these guys, I just saw them warming up and they didn't hit a single three, and now they're shooting up broken jumpers and they hit a bunch of them.
Yeah,
and there's like 5 minutes left for us to get back for its half, and then 12-minute. I think it was like 12-minute halves running clocks. It was so fast.
Yeah, we were playing 20-minute halves, so those are. I mean, those when you got 6 players, I mean, those add up. You play 2
6
games.
players is crazy.
When you
2
play
injuries away from having to quit the season
to chuck the deuces, man.
or recruit Bachman.
Yeah, recruit Bach. But he's booked for the day. He's
That's true.
he's a hot commodity. He's not an easy free agent target. Speaking of free agent, Lakers at a center and get rid of Connect. I don't understand that. I get the short term, long term. Don't really understand it. I'm gonna be honest with you, Harrison. I am. And who else we get rid of? Was it Chrissy? Max Chris. I believe there's someone else we got rid of. I know now the starting lineup is obviously Luka. You got Austin Reeves. You got LeBron at 3. You got Rui Hachimura at 4, and then you got the center from was it Hornets?
Yeah, it's
Max
from the Hornets.
It's not Max Williams, is it?
It's Williams. I don't know if it's Max Williams. Young center.
Yeah, young center.
Filling the role of
average 16 points, shoots 53 from the field, about 9 rebounds. I mean, 8-9 rebounds, real good numbers. Double double. That's kind of what we were talking about, Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say he's obviously a younger guy, but we were kind of talking about the JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard relationship. AD at the 4, of course, in 2019, 2020, and how that worked out so well, and how LeBron, he benefits from a big. I mean, you see Tristan Thompson, the years with him, it was Ilgauskas. I mean, you can even go back to Birdman, like with the Heat. Like, he's always benefited off, Chris Bosh too, with good bigs, and obviously Anthony Davis. So to get another, I would say a decent big in there. I'm not going to say he's, Hakeem Olajuwon, but he's a decent big, and I think he can help this team out for sure.
They gave up a little bit more than I thought. So they gave Lakers got Mark Williams, Hornets got Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, 2031.
That's who it was.
Yeah, it was Cam Reddish. I don't know how I feel about that, because he's like he's a guy that
we thought he were going to be.
He's that girl that everybody thinks they can fix. Like, that's Cam Reddish. Never works out.
Yeah, it's like a super. It's okay. Let's go a little deeper on that. It's like a super attractive girl though.
Yeah, that's why everybody keeps swinging at it.
Had a really, really peak high school, college. She's the girl that comes back home, and you're like, wow. And then you hear the rumors. Oh, well, she's a little bit crazy, or she's whatever. And then you don't want to admit it though, because you look past it and you say, but what
the potential?
The potential is there though, and you keep looking past it, and then all of a sudden you go for it and you say, hey, whatever. And then you go to all the track record history, you get all the receipts, and you neglect them, and then finally you're in it. You there's no going back. And then you get all those receipts, and it starts to make sense what everyone was saying. And that's exactly what happened with Cam Reddish. Such a promising career since high school.
Yeah, he's
college.
Always been like.
You talk about, Anthony Edwards said, in when he was at Georgia, right before he got to Georgia, he said Cam Reddish was the best player he ever played against. Boom. So that's an all-star. And so
and he looked, and it wasn't even like Anthony Edwards talking crazy.
Cam Reddish was I believe he was with the Hawks first, right? When he was with the Hawks, he looked good. Like he had some.
Was that the Trae Young run in the Eastern Conference Finals when they finally Hawks were actually relevant? And that's when they, Trae Young was talking crazy to New York on the road, and like it's kind of the last bright spot for definitely Cam Reddish, and last time Trae Young was relevant in postseason.
And he had some bright moments. Like, I'm not going to say he had a good career with the Hawks. I'm not going to say that, but he had bright moments, and I think the Lakers thought like, hey, we need a 3-point shooter bad. If he gets it going, we could. This could win. It's like investing in a stock that like it's you just throw some money in there and wait in a couple years and see if it hits. And
they're also lowering the standards.
It just didn't hit.
Back to the girl, you're like, okay, you just gotta get a part-time job to help me pay for rent. Like, and then for Cam Reddish, you're like, just sit in the corner and just hit some threes. Like,
just hit one.
We're not asking a lot.
Yeah.
Like, we're even making it easier for you, and you still can't like meet those standards. But yeah, I don't know. Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, 2031 Lakers unprotected first-round pick, and 2030 Lakers pick swap. So you gave a couple picks as well. Mark Williams. The only thing about Mark Williams, he's getting a little bit of the Ben Simmons treatment. Not as bad. There is some announcers. I haven't watched the Hornets super closely,
right? Mainly
because they're just, unless you got League Pass, you got to stream that stuff illegally or spend the crazy amount of money on NBA Pass to watch them all. you hear a lot of like he's kind of just low energy at times. Like they switched him off of Valanciunas the other day because he just wasn't putting in the effort, and then they had to take him out completely because they switched him out on the perimeter, and he just wasn't even closing out on 3-point shooters. So it's an energy thing for him. Why I think the Hornets are okay moving on and getting a guy like Dalton Connect.
Yeah, I think the Hornets probably won that one.
I'd say so.
Yeah,
because Dalton Connect looks good.
Yeah,
I know JJ Redick was kind of getting fed up with him. He's had some moments yelling at him for not knowing a play that was literally drawn up for him.
Yeah,
but he's a rookie, so
yeah, and I guess you would have to kind of be in there a little bit more to be like, okay, like why is that happening? Of course, but I just see the upside of the two things, and I see why you. First of all, I understand you need a big, and this roster won't survive without a big. I mean, that old roster won't survive without a big, and now you get one, and still, like, you're still at the big position. You're still like a little light. Like your roster's still a little light. So I think there's hope.
Is Jackson the backup now? But
Jackson Hayes. So I mean, you got some guys. I mean, it's just really how Luka and LeBron go mesh, and I think Luka's one of those guys who he's a winner. He's a winner at the end of the day. He's a winner, and he score, right? And so I think that's kind of the vision I kind of saw with the Kyrie LeBron situation. Although I think Kyrie needs the ball a little bit less, right? I think Kyrie obviously is more like a wing player, but also can play point guard. So I don't think his usage rate is as much as Luka. Luka bring the ball up the court. Obviously a great passer, a great scorer, can shoot the three, can hit the mid range, has the floater, has the euro, has the tempo, has everything, right? I just think maybe the usage is going to be maybe an issue. But I'm excited for it, and especially knowing that, knowing kind of the history behind it. I saw a theory from Dwayne Wade, and he was talking about how NBA viewership's been going down a little bit, and so acknowledging that their top 5 or top 10 players, most of them are overseas, or foreign, right? Not from USA. You got Shai Alexander,
Canada,
Victor,
France,
Jokic,
Serbia.
You got all these different guys, right? Luka, I couldn't tell you. Somewhere out there.
Oh, it's killing me.
Anyways, so you have that, right? And obviously, Luka right now, I mean, you can make an argument. We talked about it. Top 5 most best player, but also worldwide, I would say he's in there, right? I mean, you got KD, Steph, LeBron, and then you kind of get into the Luka conversation and Jokic, and so you get into that, right?
Or like right now or all the time?
No, right now.
Right now, you give Jokic is in there,
right?
Oh, I thought you said he's a second group. Okay.
Oh no. I'm saying you put your 3 guys in there, of course.
Okay.
KD, LeBron, Steph, and then Jokic, and then I would say
Shai, he's getting there.
He's getting there. But I would say Luka is probably top 5, right?
For
and
sure.
so and it's evident, of course, you bump him to the Lakers, now he goes number 1 in jersey sales. And so I think pairing Luka, and Dwayne Wade said this, pairing Luka with LeBron, teaching Luka how, to take care of your body and to carry yourself and to be the face of the league, preparing Luka to be the primetime Laker, the best and most lucrative franchise in sports. You can make an argument, other than the New York Yankees. I mean, you can make an argument that they are the most lucrative and most I don't know if you can say watched, but they are one of the more influential.
They're probably most watched
teams. Yeah, teams in sports. So that you add all that together, I mean, that's a genius. I mean, that the spark that adds to the league, and the transition from LeBron out of the league and Luka to be, I know, but
it sounds
the
like
air.
The way you're describing this is, it sounds like Adam Silver made this trade, not the Mavericks.
Yeah, and that's what Dwayne Wade talked about. He said this is not GMs and coaches. This is billionaires, governors, and
kind of right. Like,
and
I wonder,
and
Mark
owners
Cuban pulls all that money out. Like, we got to pay Luka. The more he disagreed with me on this, and I should have fought back a little bit more, because I just totally disagree. Like, there's definitely owners just okay with getting through the season and collecting the check, right?
Owners.
Oh
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, they don't give a damn. As long as they like do enough,
As long as their
stay
profits
competitive.
their profits are going up.
Yeah,
their
as long
pockets
as
are
the
fattening.
profits are up.
Yeah.
And as long as they're in no jeopardization, or as long as they're not the laughing stock, as long as they're just sitting okay enough.
Right, I would
They're
say
happy.
so. I mean, why
Not
wouldn't?
all of them, but there's certainly plenty.
Right.
Of
I mean,
owners like that.
think about the ones that are a little bit more disengaged, right? Maybe they're on the second generation, right? They're not too emotionally invested in it, although they probably are, right? And so, I mean, you think about a guy like Mark Cuban, like he's a quote unquote self-made, didn't know him.
And he was invested in that team.
Right.
Like he really wanted to win a ring because that was his goal.
And he still is. And so like I would say that's the person that is kind of out of that argument, right? Is out of the just sit back and let the money stack up. I would say he is part of the rare owners that are so hands-on, but then it doesn't make sense because Mark Cuban loved Luka. It was obvious. You saw it in everything. So it's like, how much did Mark Cuban really want this to happen?
Well, he pulled out of a lot of it. He's no longer the majority holder.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. As soon as he's out, all of a sudden it's up to the rest of these guys to pay money. I'm like,
right,
we're good with that. We'll just, we'll make a bunch of money. I think it's probably like three types of owners. And the first owner is like either really good or really bad. The Mark Cuban, where they're super invested and they really care and they want to win. It can be Mark Cuban or it can be Jerry Jones. One's fine. The other one really sucks. Like ask any Cowboys coach how that one is. Way too into it. Then you got the owners that I think are like totally let the GM control it. Like they'll look over the money and all that spending, but for the most part, they're going to let the GM they hired work. And then you got the third owner who's told them like, I don't want to spend any money. Like kind of Bengals-ish, where that team, facilities wise, players wise, like they just don't spend a lot of money, despite having Joe Burrow as like he's the guy. Now I shouldn't say that because they have hit an era where now the Bengals are starting to spend some money,
right? But
for the longest time, like it felt like they just weren't even trying. Like they really didn't care. So like I think there's like those type of three owners. Unless you got to throw a fourth one you want to throw in there.
Yeah, I mean you could throw in a guy that does spend money but is not, and this is, I mean, this is probably super rare, but probably like a generational family that isn't too invested in it and isn't too suffocating, but I mean obviously has the money and kind of has the
talking Jeannie Buss. So I was just gonna ask you, what is Jeannie Buss? Where does she fall in those categories?
Yeah, I would say
the Lakers owner, obviously. That's the ultimate family history.
I would say she's in the trust the GM. I mean, Rob Pelinka's
That's where I think
Rob Pelinka's doing a great job. I really do. I think over the years, Russell Westbrook was probably the one where didn't make a lot of sense, frustrated a lot of Laker Nation, but there was hope though, right? So it wasn't completely idiotic. It wasn't completely, because nobody really knows what you could have got, right? People say you could have got DeMar, but we don't really know the full story, right? You could have got Bradley Beal. We don't really know the full story, right? Could have got CP3. We don't really know the full story. So, I think Jeannie Buss is doing a good job. And I think the Buss family, I think those type of organizations where you trust a GM to do the GM and obviously get a good GM, I think you set your team up for success.
Yeah, and like if you go back even a little further, and like when you have a really knowledgeable owner and he gets a good GM, you go back another generation with Buss family. Who owned it before? Why am I blanking on his name?
I'm trying to think. They discontinued that Magic show. So remember the Magic Johnson?
Yeah, that's
TV
right.
show?
But either way, when you have like an owner that's that good and like super invested, but invested in like a knowledgeable way, not just like a Tepper for the Panthers or a Jerry Jones for the Cowboys, where they're just like over abrasive sometimes. Like that's when you get the magic runs where you get, that's that Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol era.
Who owns Golden State? Do you know?
Golden State. Let's look this up. We are way over on a break, so it'll be a good time. We'll throw out the break here. We'll get those answers on the other side. 402-464-5685. You guys can join in. That is the Start of Heyman text line. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
February is American Heart Month, the perfect time to focus on your health. Even a small change can make a big impact on your heart health. Try adding a vegetable to your dinner or a no-salt seasoning. Looking for support in making these small changes? Join a healthy living program to learn about healthy lifestyle changes with a supportive and encouraging group. Search Chronic Disease Nebraska for more information. Paid for by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now, it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at NHTSA.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, welcome back in. This is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. Got the former Husker to my left as always. You guys can join in as you have been. 402-464-5685. Shout out Mississippi Mud Dog. Yeah, we were talking about it. It was Jerry Bus before the daughter took over, and he was responsible for all of those rings, and also responsible at one point in time. They were talking about trading Kobe Bryant. He was the guy who was like, "What the hell are you guys talking about? No, we're not going to get rid of Kobe Bryant." And that obviously turned out to be a genius
Smart move.
Yeah, I think
player.
That's what the owner should have done for the Mavericks. Come down there and yell at Nico Harrison like, "Hey, don't do that. This guy is the face of our."
I'm
team.
looking right now where the Lakers are in the West right now.
I think they're fifth, right?
Are we fifth?
Yeah, they're sitting pretty. They're not even.
I'm just letting you, and I know who's leading the.
Everybody, just be ready. James Brewing's about to tell all of us that the Lakers are going to win championship. All right.
Harrison, I don't appreciate that.
I'm setting you up.
No, I'm not going to say that, but I will say this: they're 1.5 games behind Denver. They're 2 games behind Houston. Houston's young; they're on fire. Jalen Green, they're playing good ball, but they're young. Memphis is doing their thing, but Memphis always has those lulls. And I think Houston, I think the young teams are going to have to adjust to the All-Star break, and I think that's just. After the All-Star break. And I think that's just a reality of it. And obviously you got Minnesota right behind the Clippers, and they're at the 6th spot. And Lakers, of course, like you said, are at the 5. I mean, we're at what, 20? How many games have we played? Let's go 40, 50.
Okay.
50
so we're
games?
over halfway through the season. That sounds about right. We're not too far away from the All-Star break now.
Yeah.
I never understand this. You notice this with the Cavaliers this year. Why don't more teams say, screw load management, win the games now? Because the Cavs aren't going to have to sweat and like play all their best players hard minutes to ensure their seeding, because they're sitting there pretty.
Yeah,
and the one thing,
insane.
Yeah, when you notice about the Cavs, like, they're a young team, but they don't believe in load management for anything.
Yeah.
Like, if they can play, they go play. And then as a result, they have just enormous win-loss lead already because they're a good, well-coached team. And on top of that, just taking advantage of it, winning all these games early. So when they do get to post-All-Star break, like say you're a team like the Lakers, that's not a great example anymore. But if you were the Lakers like AD and LeBron, you'd make sure that last month you do have some games where your guys don't need to go all out to ensure a good spot for seeding or avoid even the play-in. Like now, you're going to get in the second half of the season where everyone's going to be gunning to get wins, and it's going to be hard minutes played by all the best players.
Yeah.
So I never understand that, why players don't like go hard in early, get to All-Star break, and then you can really get that rest. You get the All-Star break, which you should play hard in that first stretch because you got the break coming up. And then at the second half, depending on where you're seating at, you don't got to go play guys like crazy to go close out games.
I guess the counter argument that I could think of is the fact that you keep stressing the body, you keep going hard. I mean, the fatigue obviously goes up and risk of injury goes up too.
Yeah, but for 40 games. We're talking like we're talking like 50 some games. You go out there.
You just said 40, 50 games like it was just nothing though.
It was the dudes in the 80s, and they sure as hell weren't spending that much money on recovery. I am so tired of the guys today can't play that much. They're going to get hurt, yada, yada, yada.
Well, you have to understand. I mean, if guys aren't training as hard as the guys back in the day, I mean, just if their bodies aren't pushed to that capacity, then they're not going to be able to hold up that much. So
whose fault is that? You got an 82-game regular season.
I think it's more so of a system thing than more so an individual. I mean, if the system says you don't really have to play that much, then your outside training, during this offseason is just going to not be that demanding. And I think it's definitely frustrating. I agree with you. I think it should be you should just go hard and play as much as possible. But it's just it's the freedom. It's the I don't know. Maybe it's freedom.
The lax commissionership of Adam Silver.
Yeah, they're
way too weak with it.
But I think that's the culture of the NBA, and I think that's what makes the NBA, in my opinion, the more, or I would say, it's changed a little bit just because the landscape and the players have changed, and you're getting used to different names, and they're kind of in that.
Well, you root for players, not teams now. That's one of the big differences.
Well,
we're
in a mode of we're in an era of transition. And for the past 5 years, that we're transitioning out of an era, and it's pretty obvious. We're transitioning out of the Steph, LeBron, KD, and now guys like Devin Booker are about to get old, and guys like AD are about to get old, and CP3 is about to be out the league, and I mean Carmelo's out the league. Like, so we're at this transition where now Anthony Edwards is about to hit his prime, Luka's about to hit his prime, Jason Tatum's about to hit year 7.
Pretty much in his prime. He's like this in a few years, quote unquote, his prime we're walking into.
Yeah. So I mean, the Victor Wembanyama's, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's, the Luka's, the Jokic is kind of getting up there in age. Like, so those type of the guys that I grew up on, the guys that you grew up on, the guys that even guys 5 years younger than us grew up on, it's all changing. And so there's a shift. And I think if you groom these players, first of all, if you groom these players in a certain way that they're OGs, the guys that taught them the game of basketball at the highest level in the NBA, that, you know, you take care of your body, you do these this way, you fight for your right, you know, you're this and this. It's not the professional sports player is not the guinea pig that you can just tell to go here and here anymore. It's you have a say, you have a voice, right? So now you're getting into the culture of professional sports, and so you bring that into basketball, and you're like, well, you know, I don't have to play this because, you know, I take care of my body and I have a say so over who I am and what my body does, and I'm not.
You understand how entitled that sounds, though?
Well, I mean, you're getting paid $80 million. Why wouldn't you?
Because that's the part that pisses me off, though.
Why?
Is the arrogance and entitlement. Because you get that money, you are now a better person that calls all the shots.
No,
you were paying with the
think
team.
About this.
You signed up to play for the team.
Well, think about this.
And you got fans, and that's why you're getting the money, because the fans are paying to watch you.
No, you didn't know. That's not why you get the money. You get the money because
there's
you're
fans
worth it.
that are what? But why?
You're worth it.
Why are they worth it?
Because you work.
But how is the NBA making the money? Because of the fans.
But why would a fan watch someone who's not good?
Well, exactly. But they're watching the best of the best, and there's a market for it because of the fans. And so it's your job.
So you get paid. So you get paid $80 million, or let's say something stupid. Let's say it was something crazy.
When does money ever strip away your responsibility?
No, but think about this. I mean, Kawhi, great example. Well, think about this.
But Kawhi, he's got a legit case.
Okay,
sorry, I'll let you finish.
We can pick someone else. We can pick who has people have an issue with. Oh, Joel Embiid, perfect example. Okay, so Joel Embiid is probably getting paid $30 or $40 million a year, right? Or probably more than that, right?
Yeah, I'll look.
He's a franchise player. I mean, multiple MVP awards. And he's worked his tail off to get there. And so you have to tip your hat off. Of course, somebody can say, oh, because he's 7 feet, right? But I will say this. Joel Embiid is a human being, right? So what does that mean? He has a soul. He has a conscience. He has a spirit. He's a body, right? He has all these things. So when this game of basketball is over with for him and he has to live his free personal life, he's going to, if he says I'm not feeling good, I don't feel like I should play today. And Joel Embiid's probably a pretty bad example because I feel like he takes a lot of days off. He's going, if he really truly feels like he does not feel like he needs to go and whatever, then I mean later down in life when he has to, I mean you've probably seen Bill Russell walk, and you've seen all these different guys who've some passed away, but these legends who their bodies are tore up. Of course, they played in a different era.
Also, didn't take care of them as well.
But think about it. Well, how do you take care of someone?
You rehab properly. Guys back in the day were cracking beers in the locker room. There's also part of it of like some of those guys, like, look at what happens. They weren't necessarily taking care of themselves the way today's athletes do. So it's a little bit of both sides of the coin there.
Well, I mean, you think about the. I bring up football, and it's completely different. But I'll use this example. I think the principle it goes over, and I think when you see all the guys with let's take CT out of it because that's super serious. Yeah. But just ACLs. Mm-hmm. I mean, ACLs and labrums and all neck injuries and all these different things, right? Guys nowadays, they are fighting for their rights in the NFLPA a lot more. Why? Because they understand they don't want to end up like that. So I think it's more so now the older guys in the league are telling the younger guys, hey, listen, if they give you leeway, you take it every single time. The fans don't care about you. Think about this. The fans don't care about you. The owners don't care about you. The coaches don't care about you. The GMs don't care about you.
The Mavs definitely care about Luka. That's a terrible take with the fans.
They don't. But the fans go home with Luka and know his personal life.
Okay, I see what you're saying. No, like in a sense,
they just care about his performance.
Yes,
that's all they care about. They don't care about how his body feels at 3 a.m. in the morning where he's pissing blood.
Yeah, the majority of them don't.
Yeah, no, 99% of them don't.
There's 2% that really like Luka.
There's probably
worried about him.
Why are they? They're not. They don't have a personal.
I'm using like 2%. You're right.
They don't have a personal connection with Luka. They have a personal connection to the game of basketball and how that makes them feel, and it honestly probably takes their mind off of the
whatever crappy day at work they had.
Exactly. You know? So it's an emotional escape. And so you look at the individual basketball, and let's say this job, for whatever reason, 93.7 ticket, there's a physical exertion with this job, right? And your body could be compromised, right? And for whatever, there's some workman's comp organization that said, when you need a day off, you can have it.
Is my job security?
Yeah.
Then I better go take care of it, because that's the job I signed up for.
So it's the same thing with the NBA. Your job's secure. There's a
no.
NBA...
Is my job security? Like, are we talking about if the situation? What's the situation? A situation at the ticket where I got to go out and break up something? If my job is a security guard, then I'm getting paid $80 million to go do my damn job.
Right.
If I'm a producer, it's not my job, so I'm not doing it.
Right. So
but that's the difference.
But I guess that's
the job title.
I guess that's what I'm saying, though, is if your job is to use your body is your everything. And so, especially when you talk about guaranteed contracts and getting your next contract and things like that, the more you can preserve your body, I mean, the more you can stay in the league. And that's the goal, is to stay in the league for the longest. And I mean, we've seen guys, Isaiah Thomas is fighting to get back in the league, right? And you have guys that go and play overseas and don't make it back. And I mean, basketball is an interesting sport where it's such a small percent, such a skilled sport. It's much different than football, and much different than baseball. It's like, you have to be, first of all, a genetic freak. You have to have length, of course, and you have to have a skill set through the roof. That
hand-eye coordination's got
hand-eye coordination. I mean, it's just the combination is a match made literally in heaven.
It's just and that's why your best athletes play basketball a lot.
And so that's why you get paid the most. Just as simple as that.
Yeah, and it's nothing about the pay. Like the pay, we're way over again. This is one more heated debates we've had on What's Brewing, Chancellor Brewington. That's all right. We'll throw it the break. You guys can always join in. We'll have a short third segment, but don't worry. If you're new to this, Chancellor Brewington goes for 2 hours now. We'll have another hour after this one. So keep listening. Talk to you in a little bit.
The Drive with Aaron Davis, Chris Rath, and Amon Green.
Guys, Jordy Ball returns to the circle.
She is back after a year hiatus. Yeah. Also, Olivia DiNardo.
Yep.
It's your first year transfer. She's from Arizona. Can't forget my abs. Abby Squire is back this year from injury. She is back. They got a heck of a schedule. Women's softball kicks off in Clearwater Beach, Florida.
Weekdays from 9 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I used to smoke. I thought of cigarettes as my best friend.
They were always there for me when I needed a break.
I also thought cigarettes were my best friend, and then they gave me peripheral artery disease.
I smoked and had a stroke. Actually, multiple strokes.
I smoked and have heart disease.
Here's my tip. If cigarettes are your friend, you need a better friend.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun. and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
A wise nation honors and learns from its past. Hi, I'm Tim Royers, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. February is Black History Month, a celebration of the contributions that African Americans have made to American history in their struggles for freedom and equality. Knowledge is our strongest tool against injustice, and it's our responsibility as Nebraskans to ensure every child has access to a quality public education.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation, and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The Drive with Aaron Davis, Chris Rapp, and Amon Green.
Guys, Jordy Ball returns to the circle.
Ball. She is back after a year hiatus. Yeah. Also, Olivia DiNardo.
Yep.
It's your first year transfer. She's from Arizona. Can't forget my abs. Abby Squire is back this year from injury. She is back. They got a heck of a schedule. Women's softball kicks off in Clearwater Beach, Florida.
Weekdays from 9 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Chancellor Brewington, powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
Welcome back in. Final segment. We'll keep it NBA here since we talked a lot of NBA. We don't got a ton of time here left. Me and Brewington talked about it before the show even started. Jimmy Butler up to the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
I should check where the Warriors are even out in the standings right now. I don't think it moves the needle a lot for him. I'll be honest. It felt like a little bit of a lateral move for the Warriors. I don't know how much better it necessarily made them. But thoughts on the Warriors? They get Jimmy Butler. Let me pull up the standings as well.
Well, I mean, I believe they're out of the play-in tournament. I mean, Steph right now, points right now. I mean, Steph is averaging 22, and that's down for him right now. It's not the.
Oh, so they're in the play-in. They're at 25 and 25 right now.
Okay. So I mean, they're right at that 50-game mark.
Who
they get out of there? I mean, is Wiggins still there?
No, Wiggins left too.
Is Buddy Hield still there? There's no way,
let
right?
me pull up the rock. Buddy Hield might actually.
Schroeder's still there, I'm guessing. But it's like, obviously you don't really have much.
Such a minute. Yeah, Wiggins isn't there anymore. You still got Green, Dennis Schroeder. He just got traded. He's not there anymore. Yeah, they still got Buddy Hield. Okay, so they do have Buddy Hield.
Okay, I mean now, but like
Randy Waters the third, he got traded as well.
Schroeder still there?
No, he got traded.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So do you bring in anyone else, or that doesn't make sense?
They got some other guys as well, some role players. Let me actually just pull up the
You got
official
Draymond
roster. So Jimmy, Steph, Draymond, Buddy, Trace Jackson Davis. Ooh, they're really thin at that center position.
Yeah.
They got Kevin Looney. He looked really promising. Same thing, Jonathan Kuminga. They thought Moses Moody. Yeah, they don't. Man, that's not a deep roster. It's really you're running through Jimmy Butler, Steph, Draymond, and Buddy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's all rotational guys after that. Like that's. But it's a 2-year extension, right? So I think if you're the Warriors, that's why you did it 2-year. You're like, Jimmy, we'll pay you. I promise you. We're going to get another guy next year or at least some better rotational players because this team isn't going to, not in the West. Like maybe you get lucky in the East. You're not doing much with this squad in the Western Conference.
Man, especially the emergence of like the Rockets and the Memphis is still what they were.
And OKC is once again.
These young teams, I kid you not, we are in the
new era,
and it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment for me personally because I want to see my old matchups. I want to see James Harden. I want to see Paul George. I want to see.
I used to love James Harden.
Oh my gosh!
Like his MVP year, I
2017.
I had so much fun watching him on the Rockets. I can't remember who he did it to, but it was the moment he hit the step back,
the triple.
Guy falls on his feet. He stops, points, and then shoots. And I was like, that might be one of the most disrespectful
I've been
things.
Lance Stevenson. No.
Doing that to Lance is crazy.
Yeah, I feel like he just got done up crazy.
He might, but Lance played crazy, so maybe that is one stopping point.
Yeah, but I mean, think about him. I think about this is probably a little far back, but like just the mellow runs, like when he was with the Knicks later on in his career.
Well, we're done with the Kawhi Leonard runs, probably. He's so banged up now.
Yeah, Kawhi
can't ever stay healthy.
Kawhi had some really good years.
The Raptors, we got one.
Yeah.
One last one with him. I shouldn't say one because obviously the Spurs years were incredible, but it was cool to see him go up there and do it. DeMar DeRozan breaks my heart.
Yeah.
He's never going to get one probably. He's down there with the Kings. The Kings are kind of just packing it up, feels like. So we got to go to break here. We'll switch it up on the other side. We won't talk NBA for 2 hours completely, so don't go anywhere. What's brewing? Chancellor Brewington. Short break. Talk to you in a little bit.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service. But it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your County Veteran Service Officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free. So visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station. February is American Heart Month, and with heart disease as the #1 leading cause of death in Nebraska, now is the best time to start thinking about your health. Maintaining a healthy blood pressure is one of the best ways to avoid heart disease, and the blood pressure screening is fast, easy, and can be free. The best way to get screened is at your yearly wellness visit with your doctor. For more information and ways to get a blood pressure screening, search Chronic Disease Nebraska. Paid for by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Did you know that AmeriCorps programs improve lives, strengthen communities, and foster civic engagement in Nebraska? For example, AmeriCorps members serving with International Council for Refugees and Immigrants help students from refugee and immigrant families overcome cultural barriers and adapt to life in Nebraska. Discover more about AmeriCorps programs making a difference in your community at serve.nebraska.gov. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Chancellor Brewington, powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, welcome back in. What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington, former Husker tight end to my left, as always, 402-464-5685. You guys can join in. All right, Chancellor Brewington, what do you got? We haven't talked Super Bowl at all yet. We talked a lot of NBA. We haven't talked Husker Hoops. They got another dub. No, you're not the biggest college hoops guy, more of the
Yeah,
city
we
league,
don't
but-
watch college hoops over here.
Well, over there, yeah.
Yeah, over
that
here.
side of the corner.
Yeah, literally over here on this side of the room. I don't know what it is. I do know what it is.
Jealousy?
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe, to be honest, Harrison, maybe it is. Maybe internally, deep in the deep reservoir, I really believe I should have been playing basketball.
I think part of you is always going to probably wonder
what could have happened.
Yeah, how could I have been?
I think it was more so baseball. But I don't like watching baseball either. I don't even watch football that much anymore,
But
bro.
you just like competing.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've come to realize about a lot of athletes. They don't actually always watch the sport they play.
Yeah.
Like they play it, they watch a lot of film on it, but it's film. They're not like watching it.
Yeah,
recreation. They're watching it to get better for
Yeah.
themselves. Like they don't really give a damn how the Chiefs did.
Yeah, like we're gonna. I don't know if we're gonna do it on here. we'll get it going. But I'm gonna start doing some film breakdowns of last year for Nebraska football.
Oh, okay.
And so start, for the ticket, and like that's fun for me. Watching it live, I can't stand, like I don't like it. It's so like,
well, the stoppages make it suck. So if I could just watch football, that'd be like, how much is it just like the amount of stoppages? Like, because when you're playing it, the game's going, and when you stop playing it, now you're watching it. It's like, especially if you're watching NFL.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, oh my God, I can't take another commercial.
Yeah,
it kind of ruins the immersion.
I don't know, and it's interesting. It changed. It's obviously because I'm not playing it anymore. That's a huge difference, and I spend my time elsewhere, of course. But I guess he almost like learns so much about something that sometimes the fun, just the purity of it goes away, and so then it like becomes all you see is like shapes and lines and you see concepts instead of just like watching it.
Yeah, you're coaching it instead of just watching it.
Yeah,
it's like
you should have took an inside release, stacked them vertically, and then snapped it off at a 45-degree angle instead of just like, oh, here in a slant route, and you just incomplete. Like I don't know how to.
Closest thing I could probably compare it to is like fantasy football. Because when you start playing fantasy football, you start watching games in a weird way.
Really?
Yeah, you're just like not even enjoying the game. You're just like so focused on this guy getting reset. You're missing like so much of the game because you're focused on like a few individual players. And like no matter what happens, you're pissed off unless it was my guy who got the points on that play.
What's the worst fantasy punishment you've heard of?
Look, my team.
I've heard of some bad ones, like shaving heads, taking what did Jake Sorensen have to do?
Oh, he had to take what is it, Greyhound bus.
Just to like some random place and take it back. It was like 9 hours, right?
Yeah, he had to take it all the way. Did he have to go all the way to the West Coast? Or
no, I saw it on Twitter one day.
Yeah, he has. So everyone's favorite, the one and only Jake Sorensen of early
Legend.
break, 6'2", 9 a.m. now. He lost fantasy football. Yeah, imagine, right? That guy takes the L in fantasy football. His punishment in his group, I'm not sure which group he's a part of, but
some savages.
He had to take a Greyhound bus down and back 9 hours. I want to say it was on the West Coast, but he actually said it wasn't too bad. So maybe we need to be a little bit nicer to Greyhound because apparently it was cleaner than expected.
That'd be a nice, get some good reading done.
Dude, honestly, like the way he talked about it, I was like,
you might go do one this weekend?
No way. I wouldn't do it over the weekend.
Oh, no.
I need to take a few days off because I'd imagine you probably could make a lot of stops when you're traveling like that. I don't know.
Not a straight shot. I mean, that'd be some nice time away. I mean, maybe I could definitely get a book in.
But I can see if like you're
250-page book.
You're on a budget. The way Jake described it, I was like, doesn't sound that bad. Like,
how much is a Greyhound ticket?
Let's find out.
A Greyhound. I mean, think about. I'm taking a flight on Sunday.
Where do you want to go?
Well, I am. Where are we going on the Greyhound? Let's go. I don't know. Throw some in the chat. But let's go to what's around. We're in the Midwest. Let's go to Idaho. Is that too far?
They definitely, man, they got places everywhere. So
you can go anywhere.
Seems like, I don't know. They got a ton of places. I'm gonna use my phone.
How fast? I want to know how fast a Greyhound is. Like, what are we talking? Like
speed limit?
Speed limit?
Yeah, bro. It's not gonna like, oh, it's a big bus. Sorry, we're only gonna go 50 the whole way. This thing's just too heavy. They're just gonna hit whatever the speed limit is.
I don't know what a Greyhound is. Then that's the problem.
That's a bus, right?
I thought this is on a train.
That's Man, am I butchering this whole thing? I thought the Greyhound was the classic bus. Jake Sorensen, I thought I had to take the bus.
Oh boy, I looked up Greyhound. A real Greyhound came up. Greyhound. Oh, it's a bus. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a bus. Oh no. I take that back. I retract my statement from the record. I would not enjoy a Greyhound. Those are confined spaces. I thought we were talking like light rail trains. Like I would take the bus over. You know where my mind went? Polar Express.
Oh well, yeah. That sounds incredible.
My mind went Polar Express. I don't know. Maybe my childhood self needs to experience that. I thought we was taking the Polar Express, around to wherever. That's a great 9 hours. I would enjoy that.
Oh, not worth it. You can get a plane ticket. I know this is 52-hour ride. On a Greyhound bus from Chicago to Vegas for $194.
For 194?
Yeah, they do 52 hours on a bus
52?
for 100. Yeah, that's how long it's gonna take. No,
First of all,
just fly.
There's a lot of there's a lot of factors that go into this, because now you got to trust the individual driving to stay awake 52 hours. And I know you got to stop.
They
somewhere.
switch buses, I think, sometimes.
Okay.
Or it's drivers, not buses.
So you got to switch. So you're constantly switching. What's that? 52 hours. You're probably switching probably switching 9 times, 10
You gotta
times.
make a lot of stops because not everybody's got a good bladder. I can see if you're doing it for like if I'm on a budget and I need to get out to.
Now, if you need to,
yeah.
If it's crunch time and then pockets are tight and you don't got nowhere to stay and you get on that bus,
yeah, and you don't even frown about it. You own that thing.
You get on that bus and
Nice
you be
suit
proud.
guy. Yeah.
You be proud. Now, if you don't have to get on that bus, don't get on that bus. Don't get on that bus, man. Save up for a ticket or just go elsewhere. That's so interesting, though.
Yeah, the Greyhound, man.
Yeah.
Old reliable. It's
Yeah.
always there for you. A little more expensive than I thought. I thought it was going to be cheap.
Yeah, not bad.
194 for 52 hours, though.
And that's cross country right there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Chicago, Las Vegas, that's a long ride. And then, man, how do we get on Greyhounds?
Yeah, this is just how it goes, man. Late night radio, the mind gets going. Talking about the mind, I'm reading a fantastic book right now. It's called Becoming Supernatural. And on Saturdays, from 12 to 2, I'll be doing a specific show, and it'll be super interesting. I'm really excited for it. It's going to be more so of a book breakdown, talk a little bit about, a book, talk a little bit about what I'm learning, that type of subject. But the book, I'm really passionate about this one. But this weekend, I'm going to be doing Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's a fantastic book. There's 13 principles. And I've reread it a couple times, and I think you can pick a part of the book. So I had a meeting with a really successful individual. I would say successful. I don't really know how to, their definition of success for everyone is different. So I don't know how to really gauge that. But I asked him what book changed his life, and he said Think and Grow Rich. And when he said that, I was like, oh, wow, I read it. Probably like a couple weeks before I talked to him, right? And so this was like early in my stage where I just thought reading a bunch of books was like the key.
Oh, you just like check it off because you read
check it off. Yeah. And so this is like early on. Nobody really told me how to read properly and how to digest information and how to retain it and all that good stuff. And so he's like, and I was like, what was it? What about that book did you like so much? Like, because I hear it all the time. I read it. I thought it was really good, but like, what did you, whatever. And he said, that's a book you study. And I said, study a book? What? Like, was this a textbook? Like, hey, I thought it was such a foreign concept to me.
Right.
Like, what the heck? And now it's a no-brainer. I would never dare touch a book of that importance without studying it, right? And so now I go back to our conversation. I just laugh, and the man I was talking to probably is just like,
this guy.
You have much to learn. Like, obviously, he probably sees a bunch of like, passion and curiosity. But
At least he told you though.
Yeah, he told me, and I think that's a big key. But this weekend I'll be doing the 13 principles on Saturday. I don't know if you're going to be producing that, but whoever's going to be producing it, I'm sure they'll get an earful and a lot of knowledge from it. And I hope to really help people.
What time is this on Saturday?
12 to 2.
12 to 2.
Yeah.
Right here at the ticket?
Right here at the ticket.
Nah, I won't be here.
Yeah.
I'll be here at night though.
Yeah.
Stars hockey.
Yeah.
We can do
Stars
that.
hockey.
No, it's interesting though.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be fun though. But this book is amazing. I recommend it. Dr. Joe Dispenza still got me meditating, man. It's such a strange concept. And so, and I guess you could say, and I was really trying to, I guess you do a bunch of reading and like you kind of find out a little bit more of like what the whole landscape of life is and what it really means. And, or at least that was the question I was looking for. I didn't.
20s are about that time when stuff gets heavy.
Yeah, man. You start like, okay, where am I? Who am I? And start asking a little bit deeper questions than the how to make money and all that good stuff. You start, and for me, I think there's a deeper sense of meaning, and some people, I just want to help change the world in a large way, and that's just a passion of mine. I want to help people, but as I'm learning these books, it's so funny. It's like I go from a book, I go from this, and it almost is like every time I pick up a new book, it's like I unlock a door or key. I have the key to a new door and I open it up, and the vastness of information that I still need to obtain gets larger and larger each time. It's like the more I consume, it's the more I learn, the more I don't know. It's that paradox. It's like the more information I consume, it's like there's so much that I don't know, and there's so much people that know more than me, and there's so much more to life than what I've been told and what we've been told. And not only is there more to life than what we've been told, there's more to us that we don't know. And I'm not the and Harrison, I'm not the one to say. Some people like to do this, and I don't like to do this because I think it's just super competitive and it gets argumentative. That there's people out there that don't want us to know who we are, and I believe that's true. But I think to focus on that is the wrong approach. I think the right approach is just to find out who you are, and I think that takes a lot of digging and searching. But I think
100%.
there's some fantastic individuals that have walked this earth, that have put out material, that have dedicated their life to certain studies, like dedicate their whole life and condensed into a book. And if you read that book, you can somehow gain their whole life experience just, of 7 hours of reading a 300, 400 page book. Like, at least that I'm a slow reader. So that's as long as it
Yeah,
takes me.
I used to be like one of those guys who's like, oh, you got fast reader. Like, doesn't mean it's all about retention.
Yeah, it is.
Like if you read it fast and like you don't retain any of it,
Yeah.
what was the point? You just wasted a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like at least even if the guy who's taking a long time to read it, at least he's retaining it.
Yeah, there was a forget what book it was. It was talking about, or maybe it was a podcast. They were talking about learning information. Say you read a chapter for an hour, right? Read a chapter for, the time limit doesn't matter. But after you read that chapter, for the next hour, if you start going over that information, you build, I think it was like 16 neural circuits, just reading the information, and then you double it with it if you go over the material.
That's so many
right
circuits.
After the hour, and so you just double it, and so it goes from 16 obviously to 32, and so you keep doing that. 32, 64, keep going with that. But yeah, I think, and it all goes back to, man, there's so much to learn about us.
Yeah, we just need to read to learn it, dude. That's what's
or
reading rates are going down, man.
Yeah,
That's
book sales are going. Book sales.
Why is that not? I don't know why that's just not pushed a whole lot. I was listening to Michael Hunter and John Goodman, because like the book thing, like, yeah, it's a hurrah thing. A lot of people say it just to feel good about themselves. You do it because you truly believe it. You also preach it because you truly believe it too. And like we need more people, like especially for teachers, like that needs to be a huge thing. Like really get your kids into because it's
a good point.
The level of success they have, it's no brainer. It tremendously helps them out at a young age. And also when you get to your age, everything that reading does, it keeps that door open.
Yes.
Like people start their minds closed, their minds made up.
Yes.
All of a sudden you think you know who you are. In reality, you probably still don't know your worth. And it's really easy for an employer to pay a guy diddly squat because he doesn't know his own worth.
Yeah.
So
that's a great point.
Yeah, I don't know. We need to we just need to, and I'm guilty of it too. Like I don't read enough. I'll say that flat out. But like, we need to really preach that more, especially younger kids.
Yeah, and I think there's a need for it. There's a need for it. There's a I use this term, and I think this term has been used like combatively, and I don't like it. The word ignorance. And that literally just means you don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It doesn't mean you're arrogant. People switch those.
Arrogant and ignorance. Yeah, I'm glad they've always.
Yeah,
they put them together like it's the same damn thing.
Completely different. And so ignorance and one of a teacher that I've listened to said ignorance is our greatest enemy, right? And so it's what you don't know is keeping you in your same position. And and this is the tough part, Harrison. I do believe that there's people who don't want you to know.
Yeah, it's the people who make a lot of money off of people living for working for less money.
But I will say this: once you learn the information and apply it and understand it, ignorance goes away. You build this thing called faith. And I'm not talking religion here. I'm talking faith in your knowledge, faith in your knowledge that you use and gain experience, and you gain understanding. And so then you go through life not guessing on where you're going and who you are and what you want to be. You understand, okay, I've studied people who have gone there. I've studied people who want to do the same thing as me. I've studied people not only who have gone there, succeeded, but also people who have failed, got back up on their feet and succeeded again. I've studied where I come from as much as I can conceptualize. I've studied my community. I've studied my culture, if those things are important to you. And then all of a sudden you can go into the world as a confident individual, and guess what? People, now you're interesting. Now people want to be around you. Now people are like, okay, what the heck is with this dude or with this woman or with this girl or with this young man? Like there's no race, there's no gender, there's no age, really, this capacity of learning and information. I mean, I think there's a misconception, and I'll speak to how I was raised in the minority community, in Black community. And I never make it a race thing. I hate the race thing. I don't like it at all. I think we're all at the core essence of who we are. We're all the same. I love we were just talking about the Jamaican culture, Rastafari. They have a saying called I and I, and it literally means I and I, that we are all one, that all of creation is one, and we're all the same, right? And so there's growing up, a book for me was Of Mice and Men. The books for me were Romeo and Juliet. Harrison, I could not understand that there was a book out there that could make you a better version of yourself. That never occurred to me.
What was the first one you said?
That I read?
That made you a better version. You actually felt like it.
The
Time Machine. Orwell was was that Orwell? It was an older book. It's a short book, but that one was,
for me, it was
crazy.
The Alchemist.
Yeah, that's one that people praise like crazy.
Oh my gosh.
I still need to read it.
Powerful. It's like one of those books where I read it twice. I read it one more again, but it's like one of those books where you want to go back and read it again. You want that first experience, and you can't get it again. You can't get it again. It's like your first time watching Dark Knight, or Avengers, or like Black Panther, or Get Out, or like one of those cinematic, like Goodfellas, or I watched Good Will Hunting for the first time 2 nights ago.
That was the first time?
Harrison, I thought that was one of the greatest movies I ever saw.
What's Eating at Gilbert Grape?
Huh?
Have you watched What's Eating at Gilbert Grape?
With Johnny Depp and
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, fantastic.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic.
Good
yeah.
pull.
And I'm a movie junkie, so I saw part of Good Will Hunting. I've seen clips. Haven't seen the whole thing.
Yeah, the Good Will Hunting.
And Good Will Hunting, I mean, Robin Williams, fantastic. I mean, you talk about acting. Robin Williams, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
There's
it's been a hot minute.
The woman, the girl in that has some she look all right now. The girl in Good Will Hunting, she got the little accent too. I'm not gonna get too provocative on here, but she looks good. Okay.
I was. We'll go throw the break here. A little bit over time here, as I had to catch myself coughing. I was having some great flashbacks. Unknown texter, appreciate the kind words. We'll read them before we send the break. 1-542. What's up? Just listening to the show. Great show. The saying I like is ignorance is not knowing. Amen. Absolutely. Appreciate you guys listening. Again, you guys can always join in. We'll read them off here, or you can always join the streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961. We still got 2 segments. Don't go anywhere. What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington, Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s.
A Shiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit asiaretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Letting your child know you believe in them will go a long way towards making a dream a reality. I'm Tim Royers, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. It's important to celebrate learning, focus on the positives, and reinforce good effort and determination. Children need your encouragement and support. Nebraska public school teachers want every student to succeed.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong?
they find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The Drive with Aaron Davis, Chris Rapp, and Amon Green.
Guys, Jordy Ball returns to the circle.
Ball. She is back after a year hiatus. Yeah. Also, Olivia DiNardo. Yep. It's your first year transfer. She's from Arizona. Can't forget my abs. Abby Squire is back this year from injury. She is back. They got a heck of a schedule. Women's softball kicks off in Clearwater Beach, Florida.
Weekdays from 9 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, welcome back in. Second last segment here. We only got a couple left. What's Brewing, Chancellor Brewington, 402-464-5685. Appreciate you guys joining us because What's Brewing, Chancellor Brewington is now 2 hours and will continue to be 2 hours here on Ticket Weeknights. Plus, of course, we get around the high school basketball Husker hoops. But nonetheless, we got them here tonight. Chancellor Brewington, segment number 5.
Segment number 5. Do you hear that? Segment number 5. This is our second 2-hour show. We will be on either 8 to 10, 9 to 11,
whatever we got to do to keep that live, continuous going. The only reason why I do that, I know people listen out there, I just like keeping the live stuff together. It sucks when you got to replay in the middle, because then people are listening and then they text in, and then it's like, oh, this is clearly older episode, and then everybody tunes out, thinking it's not live. So I like I don't know. To me, it just seems like a better experience for the audience if everything's just live and congruent. I mean, you don't have to guess if it's a replay or not when you're texting in.
And the fun thing about radio that makes it interesting is, at least from my vantage point, I don't really know. You can see the streamers and stuff. Like you can see the live viewers, of course, streaming through Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. But like, you don't really know who's listening. It's almost like a mystery. Like,
I know. And then you get a random
and then you get a random text,
and
and especially the ones I love. And I love when someone says like, I resonate with that. Like, ooh, like whatever you said right there hit my soul. And like, we're on the same wavelength, or I understand you. And like, it's like, or like, it boosted someone's,
made their day just a little bit better.
Man, that's what I do it for. And obviously we joke and we laugh, and we also give information, we entertain, but we also try to encourage and inspire too. So I love the format of radio. I've fell in love with I would say the unknowingness. And then you go somewhere and someone's like, hey, like, I appreciate what you said on the radio. Like that hits different, instead of I do appreciate, I love the way you played. Like, it's just different when someone says, I appreciate what you said, and yeah, it's different.
You ever get a text, like a number you don't even know, give you some kind words
on my cellular phone?
Yeah.
No, Harrison, I have not.
That's happened a few times.
Really?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Are you accidentally saying, instead of 402-664, what's the?
I'm just giving out my number.
464-5685. You're putting out your number sometimes.
No, it's usually like after the show and stuff. And I feel so bad because it feels like I should.
So people are texting you.
It's got to be like a family member. I feel really bad that like somehow it's not like, hey, I'm well renowned. Like,
the cousin from Oregon or something.
Yeah. Because that's one thing that's so crazy about my family. I don't know how you are with our cousins, but my family is like so direct family oriented. Like I can tell you diddly squat what goes on outside the direct family.
Yeah, it's my
outside of my aunts. I don't want to. If they're my aunts are listening, I love you guys. Don't,
yeah.
I think about you.
We love the fam.
Don't worry about that.
I would say we grew up such like we're like secluded from the family. Like we're like one of the only families in Arizona, and we're traveling all over the place. Yeah. So, and our family's like everywhere: Colorado, Miami, Pennsylvania, Oregon, California, like North Carolina, Atlanta. We're literally everywhere. So and on both sides. And so I not agree with you. I resonate with you with that. Like communication is tough. And then when you get older, since the communication like wasn't formed when you're young,
like almost gone.
It's
sad.
Not gone, but it's really hard to reconnect. But you know what's awesome though? I'll tell you what. I had a camping trip with some cousins, an uncle, and an aunt. And I grew up around them. I was super young though, right? This is when my dad's playing ball. This is like 3-4 years old, right? And so, but I would see them, every 3-4 years. And as I got older, I was playing sports, couldn't really travel, right? During the holidays, always playing tournaments and stuff. I went on a camping trip the first time this last year, or
first time camping?
A year and a half ago.
Okay.
But yeah, never went camping before.
Okay. Great time.
Yeah. Never went camping. Saltwater rafting. Down the Colorado.
Not saltwater.
Or not saltwater. River rafting. Whatever.
Whitewater.
Yeah. Whitewater. Yeah, that wouldn't make sense. Saltwater.
Whitewater.
Yeah, whitewater rafting. You can tell how much I don't get outside by that statement right there. But we go and I reconnect with my cousins and aunt and uncle, and we have a fantastic time. It's something I'll never forget. I didn't really like the camping part, but it was the connection, the people I was with, and I didn't grow up with them.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy with family. Like every now and then, it's so crazy because like I'll randomly run into someone and be like, "Hey, we're cousins, right?" And it's crazy. Like you instantly kind of get that family connection where it's almost like you vibe the same way.
Yeah.
And that's always one part. So yeah, man, if you got family, hang out with your family. That's one part I definitely missed. I feel like I didn't do a good job of like, let's try to. I still got to figure out who the hell my cousins are. They're out there.
Yeah, I tell you what, I have a nephew now, and life is just different.
You probably look at family a lot differently.
Oh my gosh, it's just like, and they're he's not even. June 25th is his birthday. June 25th. So like he's barely 7 months, 8 months. right? About to hit 8 months coming up. Like, so he's fresh, right? He's he's still learning and barely walking and stuff. But there's something, I don't know, when a child enters the family, everything shifts. Like everything changes time wise and structurally, of course, but then like emotionally, everything changes too. And like the chemistry within the family changes and everything is kind of around this child. And it's like, whatever's best for the child is what's best for us.
Yeah,
Like,
you guys are kind of put on the clock too, of like everything we do now is to make sure that the next generation, because our family is not part of that generation, has all the tools they need to succeed. We are getting up to our last break here, but I want to get this text in here from Latex Mallard from MySpace. That's a fantastic name. Brewington, I'll let you answer this one. He said, talk about building a positive climate in the locker room, how to do it, and how to fix a bad one. Asking for a young coach.
Ooh, positive. So read it one more time. Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, I should probably sit down for this. You guys should. He wants to know about building a positive climate in the locker room, how to do it, and how to do it if it's a bad one.
Yeah, so I think the first thing is you establish leaders. I think you have to establish who's a leader on your team, and I think that starts with getting to know the players, right? And I think there's always leaders. And I think everyone inside of them has some type of leading capacity. And so I've seen that within, some guys lead one person, some guys lead 5, some guys lead 10, some guys can lead a community and a state and a nation, right?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, condense that down into a team. And I don't know what sport this is. I don't know why I'm envisioning basketball, but
that's what I thought too.
Yeah,
it's because the time of year.
Yeah, maybe text in what team, and it'll make a little bit more sense. But I would say first establish that, and I think and I've talked to some young coaches too, just like friends of mine, and just talked to them how they did it. And the way I always think about leadership, especially like younger guys, is understanding the player and pouring into them in a different way to where that player feels like they have the comfort to lead, right? And maybe it's not just one player. Maybe you have multiple leaders on the team, but also encouraging that leader to form more leaders, right? So it's like, it's not necessarily this thing, for me at least, leadership isn't necessarily this thing where you have one leader and everyone follows this person. I think the true leaders, you see it throughout history too, the true leaders are the ones that develop more leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so then it's like the flock of birds that fly in the air. Like, who's the leader of the birds? No, they're one movement, right? And so I think it's different. Obviously, we're more of the primal, right? Especially males, if you're talking about males. But I think to establish a leader and to pour into that leader, but also to encourage that leader and to get more, to develop more leaders on the team. And I think that helps a positive locker room. And I think a negative one, the negative one is tough because you have to understand that there's good seeds and bad seeds. So we just talked about leadership. Now you're talking about, someone who's corrupt in the locker room, whether that's bad, whether that's ego, whether that's whatever it is, understanding, okay, who is that individual, right? Identifying it and then saying, okay, where can I help this individual? Because obviously there's something that he's not grasping. Now, if he's just a bad seed and he's not going to change, there's ways to handle that. But if there's an area that as a coach or as a player, right, you can encourage your leaders to grab this guy and bring him up, right? Now, if he's just a crab in a barrel and he's just going to pull everyone down, that's a whole nother conversation. But I think identifying where your leaders are, the guys that need help, and understanding your players and pouring into them. I think pouring into players changes the landscape of everything. And pouring in, it could mean that's something different for everyone.
I think it's around the same thesis still. Like I obviously have never coached at. Well, I coached Pee Wee soccer for a little bit. So
there you go. Hey, that's something.
But hearing from guys like Barry Thompson, hearing from guys like DP, hearing from guys who've actually coached. Like I've been at the ticket long enough to been around guys like Bill Bush, yada yada yada. I'm going on Kenny Wilhite down at Grambling State.
Yeah.
The thing they always talk about, the most important thing, if the players don't believe that you are truly there for them and not yourself, you're just not going to get the result you want. You have to, if you can't sell it to that locker room that you were there for them, then you're going to have a tough time developing leaders because they're going to want to go out and do their own thing. They're not to me, is that kind of true, shaping what you saw where as soon as that trust with the coach falls and like the coach is failing to let the guys know and make sure the guys know that everything that coach is doing is for the betterment of those players, things just fall apart. Feels like once that connection dips, season's over.
Yeah, there is a trust element to a player coach relationship. For
Can
sure.
you salvage it? I guess would be the other question.
I think you can. I think there are moments. There's moments where you show your character as a coach and as a player too. But I think obviously the coach, they say the players are the reflection of the coach. And I think there's a lot of times where things get rocky as a coach and you forget, or I've seen this.
How many DUIs does Kirby got?
Huh? Oh, that's a good one. But you forget sometimes like that you're here to lead and you're here to pour in, and that, these kids are either consciously or unconsciously looking for you to lead them. And so that's obviously a lot of, I would say, pressure. I mean, but that's what you sign up for. But I think there is a point where things go really rocky or things go south or your character gets tested.
And sometimes by no one's fault even.
Yeah. And
just being lucky.
And the players are looking for someone to lead. I'll tell you how much time we got. 4 minutes?
You can go for a few minutes here.
I had a story. So freshman year, my basketball team, right? I'm killing it. Like just absolutely killing it on the basketball. Like first time really playing organized, right? Except for like middle school, right? And we kind of hit a rocky point in the year. And they're like, you want to get thrown up on JV. And like, I've loved like my freshman team. Like we were boys. I didn't really have friends at this high school. I'm out of the district zone. So I'm like,
this is the group you found.
Yeah, I'm making friends and stuff. This was awesome, right? So I'm like, I want to stick this out. We're having problems, right? And our coach is super hard on us. He ends up kicking us out of the whatever, tells us to leave like back-to-back days. And we have like big games come up midway through the season, right? So the coach, I'm seeing the coach like displaying like this kind of poor,
2 days in a row,
poor temper, right? And so I tell my dad about it, and my dad gives me great advice. He says, "Well, talk to him." And I'm 13, 14 years old at the time, and I'm like, I'm an introvert. Like I just like to work hard. And
new kid too.
Yeah, new kid. And then all of a sudden, and these kids, the kids on team, like just see me as an ultra athlete that doesn't really know basketball, right? So I'm like, I'm still trying to find out my identity on the team. And so my dad tells him call him, and so I, drop him, right, and call him. And so I call coach and I said, coach, like the guys aren't responding well to the way you're coaching us. And as I'm looking back, I'm like, wow. So the coach opens up and says, my dad died. Dad died a couple weeks ago.
Damn, you never know.
Didn't know. And so I said, wow. I'm speechless on the phone. I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, my dad died, and I'm going through it a little bit, and I appreciate you calling me, and I realize I'm doing too much, and there's a bunch of stress, work life, all these different things, right? And so we finished the conversation, and kid you not, to this day, I haven't really seen him much, but whenever he reaches out to any people in my family, he says that it was something about that conversation that changed the way he looked at coaching. And I'm this is not to boost my ego, or I'm not trying to brag or anything.
No, but
there is a point where the player relationship between player and coach is so crucial, especially when the leader feels comfortable enough to go to the coach and say, this is not working. And when the leader has a good pulse on the team. Now, if the coach said, imagine, and we ended up winning a little bit more, and we ended up doing good, right? Yeah. And practice went great. There's guys quitting at the time. Guys came back to the team. Everything went good. Now, if we would just let that go, and the player and coach relationship just, tarnished and salvaged, like you said, and there's, he would have lost the whole locker room, just like the dude was asking about. So I think understanding your leaders and letting them, having a safe space for them to say. Now, if you pick the wrong guy to have the voice on the team, you're effed. You're
so
effed.
you're like giving it to Draymond Green?
Yeah, you let the reckless dude have the voice. I mean, now you're not gonna, it's not gonna be genuine. But if you let the guy who works the hardest, who's consistent, who has a good, who's not the the one who wants to cause the problem.
Well, yeah, to make it simple here, like I'm not going to do well if, say, there's a guy who works at the ticket, and again, this isn't a true story, but to make it up, and he shows up half of the times. I show up every single day, but the days he shows up, he's telling me what to do and how to work.
Right. If that guy has,
I'm not listening.
If that guy has the voice, so no two same persons see life the same way. So if you want to get a good post on the team, let's go to the guy who's displayed integrity, character, and a formidable work ethic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my advice, and that's a quick story, but yeah.
No, that's a great story, and then I appreciate the kind of words. Latex Mallard, I believe his name. I always got to look it up. Yeah, Latex Mallard from MySpace. Nonetheless, appreciate the text. You guys continue texting in. We got one more segment on the other side. Don't go anywhere. What's Brewing? Chancellor Brewington, Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes, with early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Pre-Diabetes Awareness Partners.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de the Alzheimer's Association y the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
February is American Heart Month, and with heart disease as the #1 leading cause of death in Nebraska, now is the best time to start thinking about your health. Maintaining a healthy blood pressure is one of the best ways to avoid heart disease, and the blood pressure screening is fast, easy, and can be free. The best way to get screened is at your yearly wellness visit with your doctor. For more information and ways to get a blood pressure screening, search Chronic Disease Nebraska. Paid for by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Did you know that AmeriCorps programs improve lives, strengthen communities, and foster civic engagement in Nebraska? For example, AmeriCorps members serving with Conservation Nebraska provide valuable environmental education and practical tips people can use to maintain Nebraska's natural beauty and live more sustainable lives. Discover more about AmeriCorps programs making a difference in your community at serve.nebraska.gov. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as 1 pack of cigarettes.
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, wrapping things up here. Final segment. Appreciate you guys listening throughout the entire night of Ticket Weeknights here. This will be the last show, though, so let's talk Super Bowl. It will take place on Sunday, so this will be the last show for What's Brewing Chance Brewington, at least between you and me, before we get to the Super Bowl on Sunday night. Eagles, Chiefs. I believe the Chiefs are still favored by 1.5. What are you leaning on this one, Chance Brewington?
So my mind goes to Eagles. I would love for Cam Jurgens to get one. I think that would make my whole day. I don't know if Jack Stoll's still there, but I would love for Cornhusker to get one. I would love for Jalen Hurts to get one, or he doesn't have one.
No, they
he lost. Yeah, he wasn't there.
They played the Chiefs and lost.
Yeah. I would love for that Eagles squad to get one. I have an uncle who's a diehard Eagles fan, but also I know the rhythm of the NFL, and I think it's a good story maybe if Kelsey gets one.
Oh, yeah, excellent. Played the out music there. Go ahead.
You got the headphones on. Yeah. I think it's good. I think it's good for NFL if Kelsey gets one. I think it's rewarding. If you want to talk that way, and I know you're not into that, Harrison, but I will say this. I think it's gonna be like a 3-point game. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I couldn't see it, and if I see a blowout, it's going to the Eagles. Because I think Saquon's that X factor, and I think he's going to be the one. And he's been hot lately. He's been on fire. I think he's going to be the one to control more of the tempo for the Super Bowl. Literally, like I think if Saquon plays good, the Eagles win. If Saquon has an average day and they don't feed him much, I don't know if the Eagles have a chance in this one.
I'm leaning the same way. I just like the Eagles. We'll just make this easy. Since we got a little bit of time here left, who's got the better quarterback?
Chiefs.
Yes. Okay. Who's got the better offensive line?
Eagles.
Who's got the better defensive line? Chris Jones makes it a little bit interesting. You maybe go back and forth, but I'm probably still going to go. Yeah. I'm going to go as well.
Yeah. Jalen Carter's nuts.
Knows. Chris Jones, if he has a monster day, then maybe you go Chiefs there.
But he's not good. I wouldn't say he's not good, but I wouldn't say he's known for his run stopping, right? So
yeah, that's a good point. Like the run, I mean, he's still. He's a beast.
He doesn't match up well against the Eagles. So keep going.
Okay, yeah, that looks better. Secondary. I'm going Eagles again.
Yeah, it's Eagles, but it's not that far.
No, wide receivers.
Eagles.
Yeah. What are we missing? Running back room. Eagles. Tight end. Goddard versus Kelsey. It's actually pretty close though. Again,
yeah.
You probably go Chiefs.
I'll go Kelsey because they use him more.
Okay, now this one you're probably going Chiefs. Coaching staff. All-time winningest coach for the Eagles is Andy Reid, and Chiefs all-time winningest coach is Andy Reid. It's very hard to go against Andy Reid.
Yeah, it's Andy Reid.
Yeah, and then Spagnuolo,
but I guess
Nagy. Yeah. Like it's the OC, DC, all those guys know each other. All that being said, though, like most of the edges you're gonna go towards the Eagles, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It feels a little bit like Buccaneers, Tom Brady beating the Chiefs. And that's what I've been saying tonight.
This is the thing, though, Harrison. Once that Eagles offense gets going in the run game, it's really hard to stop. Why is it hard to stop? That's the question. Because they open up Jalen Hurts for the run game, play action pass. They incorporate tight end in the pass game, incorporate receivers, Saquon in the pass game, Saquon in the screen game. Like,
how many rushing yards do you think Hurts has this year too? It's unreal. I didn't realize it was this lethal, because you're 100% right on Hurts. When the run game gets going.
Well, I know this by the numbers. I know Saquon Barkley has 2,000 yards, and I know Jalen Hurts has thrown 3,000, I believe 257 yards this year, or somewhere around there. And I believe that his average is usually around 308 or 3,800. And so I would say that his rushing yards is up this year, and I believe he's like a top 5 rusher in the NFL at the top 3 rusher in the NFL as a quarterback. Am I right on any of those?
He's got, well, I'm not sure where he sits. I'm trying to find, because I'm realizing here, I don't think they've added his postseason totals yet so far. Maybe they did. He's sitting at 630 rushing yards, though.
It's pretty amazing.
That's pretty good. I thought it was higher than that at 730.
What's it? Did they have the year before?
Year before 605. It gets crazy though. 2022 760. 2021 784 yards.
So I think the stats.
Barkley.
The stats tell a little bit of the Eagles story. So if you look at the 2022 year, you look at the way Jalen Hurts didn't turn the ball over, the way he was consistent throwing the ball. I believe he was around like 3,800 yards. Oh, am I close? 3,800 for 2022 passing.
2022 passing, he was 3,700.
Okay, so around there, and I believe the next year is
3,900 about.
Okay, perfect. So he's right around there. But see what happens, and I believe he's like 4 or 5 picks, right? The year before this one, in 2023, he was like 11 picks.
He was 23 touchdowns, 15 picks. This year, he's sitting at 18 touchdowns, 5 picks.
Exactly. So there's a consistency there. When Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball well, not turning the ball over, but then here comes the kicker. They add in Saquon Barkley, and he rushes for 2,000 yards, leading the NFL. And so my estimate is I'll go like 34-31 Eagles.
What is going on? Yeah, 34-31 Eagles.
Really?
That score. I had that score. Strickland had that score. You had that score.
No way.
Everyone's going 34-31.
There's an energy in the room, Harrison.
Either way, man. Win's a win. I don't care what it looks like. I think that's a happy ending if the Eagles get it, mainly because that center definitely deserves one.
Yeah.
I mean, just real quick here to say, he's been phenomenal at the NFL level already. I mean, he's been such huge shoes to fill.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely rooting for him in that one. We'll wait and see, though. We'll definitely talk about it Monday. Appreciate you guys listening. Have a great rest of your Thursday night.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.